Look, we're at a staggering moment. There's more forcibly displaced people around the world today than at any other time in modern history. Many of the people who are caught in impossible situations of acute and high-intensity violence must flee to survive. Yet, while more people require life-saving humanitarian assistance than ever before, we're also witnessing alarming gaps in responses to large crises of forced displacement. I'm going to speak to you about three specific crises involving forced displacement in Sudan, in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the Rohingya crisis, each of which is a distinct crisis, but all are characterized by inadequate global action despite massive humanitarian needs. This April marked 1 year since conflict in Gulf Sudan forcibly displacing millions of people internally and into neighboring countries such as South Sudan and Eastern Chad. Today, the situation is worse than ever. Hundreds of thousands of people are facing immense suffering, including malnutrition, trauma, and a lack of access to basic health care. Earlier this month, MSF was forced to stop outpatient treatment for 5,000 children with acute malnutrition in Zamzam displacement camp in North Darfur because warring parties have blocked deliveries of food, of medicines, and other essential supplies. 2,900 of these children are under the age of 5 with severe acute malnutrition. Their lives are now in immediate danger. Meanwhile, in North Kivu province of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, hundreds of thousands of internally displaced people are urgently in need of food, shelter, drinking water, and protection from sexual violence amid violent conflict between multiple armed groups, including government forces. In 2023, MSF-supported clinics provided care to 20,556 survivors of sexual violence, which is roughly 2 survivors of sexual violence every single hour. This alarming situation has deteriorated further. MSF teams treated nearly 70% of the total number of survivors of sexual violence in 2023 in just the first 5 months of 2024. In September, Eastern DRC was also the epicenter of the current Mpox epidemic in Africa, a virus that will be impossible to contain unless efforts are made to improve the appalling living conditions displaced people have been struggling with for too long. MSF is the main provider of health services inside the fenced Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, where roughly 1 million people live. Here, people who have fled violence and persecution today find themselves contained and are prohibited from accessing education or employment. Just this summer, an MSF survey revealed that almost 1 in 5 people tested for hepatitis C had an active infection, but a lack of capacity in the camps means that many Rohingya people are going to miss out on treatment and being cured. 7 years ago, Canada took a leadership role in the global response to the Rohingya crisis. But today, Canada has seemingly failed to renew its Rohingya strategy after it expired in March of 2024. Canada needs to honor the commitment that it made to the Rohingya people and to the humanitarian community and renew and properly resource its strategy immediately. People's lives are further endangered by attempts by states and other actors to contain, deport, and deter people from seeking safety in other countries. Harmful policies do not deter people from fleeing violence and seeking safety, but they do force people into impossible situations, such as making perilous journeys across dangerous seas, where thousands of people routinely die. Canada should not only be responding to these humanitarian and political crises, but should be denouncing policies that prevent people from escaping situations of violence and deprivation, and that increase their vulnerability. I want to thank the committee for taking the time to look into these issues and the role that Canada can play to address these emergencies. In DRC, in Sudan, in Bangladesh and beyond, minutes matter for people who are forced to flee their homes.
Can you wrap it up, please?
Yep.
Time is up.
And humanitarian assistance can make the difference between life and death. MSF is going to continue to respond, but humanitarians cannot stop wars. Humanitarians cannot lift blockades, and humanitarians cannot prevent the crises that today are driving alarming levels of displacement. You have the voice and power to act decisively. Canada has a voice that needs to be fully engaged in addressing the problems that are today fueling these humanitarian crises. And we hope that Canada can find the political will and the moral courage to continue to step up. Thank you.